Year 12 is our third video for the topic of single variable statistics. In this lesson, we're going to look at the measures of central tendency. So far we've talked about the types of data, how to organize data, and how to display data. So after we've collected the data, organized it, and graphed it, we need to analyze the data in order to draw conclusions. And there are two broad statistics that we're interested in: the center of the data and the spread of the data. So let's talk about measures of central tendency. There are three measures that we use: the mean, the mode, and the median. The mean is found by adding all the data values and dividing by how many there are. You've been doing this for a long time now, but you might not have seen this formula. This is the symbol for the mean, x with a line over the top, and it's equal to the sum of all of the individual data scores divided by the number of scores. So let's find the mean of 1, 3, 4, 4, 6, 8, 9. We add them up, divide by 7, which gives us 35 over 7, which is 5. The median is the middle term, and there's no widely accepted symbol. Now, if there's an odd number of data, there's going to be one middle. So we line up our data in order, and we cross off from each side until we're left with one middle. So that's the median. If there's an even number of data, there's going to be two middles. And in that case, we just find the average of those two numbers. So line them all up, cross off from each end. We're left with 3 and 5 in the middle. And the average of those two is 4, so the median is 4. And it's really important, the data has to be put in order first. And the mode. It's the most common score. It's typically used for categorical data. Now, if there are two modes, we call the data bimodal. And if there are more than two modes, we say the mode doesn't exist. So here's an example. State the mode for 1335566. There are 3 6s. That's the most common score. So the mode is 6. Let's review how to find the mean on the scientific calculator. So we need to start by putting the calculator into stats mode. So we hit mode and then 2 for stats. And then we want to choose one variable. We enter all our data into one column. So we do 5 equals, 9 equals, 11 equals, etc. Now here's a really important point. We need to press AC. So I'm going to highlight that for you so you remember. If you don't press AC before you go into your stats menu, you won't get all the options that you need. But once we've pressed AC, we do Shift and then 1 for our stats menu. We want 4 for variable and then 2 for the mean. And our mean, in this case, is 6. The more recent Casio calculators will also find the median. Now we've still got our data stored in the calculator, so we want to go into our stats menu again, which is here. So Shift 1 for stats. And this time we want 5 for min max. And within that menu, we have our median. We've also got our quartiles, which we'll look at next video. So press 4 for median, and our median is also 6. Now, if we have a frequency distribution table, then we can use this formula here to find the mean. So here's a frequency distribution table. You may be familiar with the fx column or not. This means f times x. So it's pretty easy. We just do 1 times 0, which is 0, then 5 times 1 is 5, 6 2s are 12, etc., etc. We want the sum of the fx column. So adding all of those together, and then the sum of the f column, so adding all of these together. And it's just a simple division. 81 divided by 29 is 2.8. So there's our mean. But it is much, much easier to do it on the calculator. However, we have to turn on the frequency. So this time what we're going to do is go Shift mode, because we want to get up into setup. So Shift mode. You get this screen here. You'll see a little arrow at the top, which means there's more to it. So we press our down arrow to get to the next screen. And here you can see stat. So hit 3 for statistics, and then this screen comes up, and we want to turn the frequency on. So hit 1. Now that we have our frequency column on, we just do what we normally do. So we start by putting our calculator into stats mode. So remember, mode here, then 2 for stats, 1 for one variable, statistics. And we enter our data, and we just do that using the equal sign and an arrow key. Press AC. Then, depending on whether we want the mean or the median, remember we want to go Shift 1 to open our stats menu. We go into 4 for variable, and then 2 for the mean. If we want the median, then again Shift 1 for the stats menu, but we go into 5 for min-max for the median. Now with group data, all we have to do is enter a class center, and we went through how to find a class center in a previous lesson. So exactly the same. I need the frequency column, I enter the data, press AC to clear, and my mean is 75.4 and my median is 75. Okay, a couple of tips. The calculator is a great time saver in exams, so make sure you know how to use it efficiently, including turning your frequency on and off, making sure you press AC before you access your stats menu. And here's another tip. If you want to get back into your data, then go into here. So remember, Shift 1 for your stats menu, and there it is there. Don't make the mistake of going mode and putting your calculator into stats mode, because that'll actually wipe your data. Right, just to finish off, how do we know which statistic to use? And the answer is, it depends. The mode is typically used for categorical data because we can't use the mean and the median. Remember, categorical data is often words. We can't add up words or order them. When it comes to numerical data, we have the choice of the mean or the median. It's a fairly simple rule. If there's an outlier, we would choose the median. If there's no outlier, we would choose the mean. Let's have a look at an example. Let's find the mean and the median of this data set. We can see there's an obvious outlier. The median is 4. The mean is 14. Can you see how it has been skewed? Now, the reason that we would use the mean otherwise is because it takes into account all of the data points, whereas the median only looks at 1. So the mean is better unless there is an outlier. Now, if you want to have a look at a rather humorous example from Australian media, there's a link at the top to Media Watch Press, and I promise you'll enjoy it. Okay, that's it for this lesson. Our next lesson is on measures of spread.